When I designed this camper, there were a few things that my wife and I just knew that we were going to want for sure, and they were kind of non-negotiable. One, we wanted a queen-size bed. We wanted plenty of room to rest and just be comfortable. Two, we wanted a restroom slash shower, and it too had to be kind of grandiose in terms of size, even though we're in a very small camper. The third thing that we wanted was the dinette. Now, it didn't have to be a huge dinette. It just needed to be big enough for me and my wife to sit down, to have a meal, to play a game, or just whatever. All that said, we got what we wanted. Those check boxes are fulfilled, and overall, we're pretty happy with what we ended up with. But that left very little room for our little kitchenette. The way we figured it is, at least in nice weather, we'll probably be outside most of the time cooking outside, but we still needed an area inside to cook. So what I've got here is very small, but I'm going to show you the stovetop that we ended up going with, how we installed it, how everything works, and why we chose to go with that one. If this is something that interests you, then keep on watching. Welcome back to the Freedom Adventure. And guys, I just want to say, if you've been watching the videos along the way, I wanted to say thank you for your support. It really does mean a whole lot to us. We're still a really small channel, so every like is appreciated, every watch hour is very much appreciated, and just thank you. And if you're new to the channel, first of all, thank you for tuning in. Like I said, very much appreciated. Essentially what the Freedom Adventure has been up to this point, for the most part, is a documentary about the conversion process between an old decommissioned ambulance into what it's become and what we term as our very own little miniature Class C motorhome. Now, the whole reason that we did this conversion isn't just to say that we've converted an ambulance over into a motorhome, and quite the contrary. It is pretty neat to be able to say that, because, like, seriously, who really does that? But rather, the reason that we did it was to be able to create a vessel to live in, to create a motorhome that was, one, it was affordable, and it was only at a fraction of the price of something that we could just go ahead and purchase. And two, and really the main reason that we did this, was because my wife and I have been wanting to buy some property down in southeast Oklahoma, some off-grid property rather, and that's why the ambulance camper conversion has been developed as an off-grid rig. You see, we need somewhere to stay, somewhere to live in while we're developing this said property. And one of the things that we needed to do in order to make this functional, because we're wrapping up on it, man, we're getting really, really close to being complete with it, was going to be a stovetop, which you see right here in front of me. We've done a lot of things in terms of the camper conversion. We've put the bed in, we've got a restroom, we've got the dinette, and like I said earlier, those were three of the things that were non-negotiable, and those we had to have. But what it's done is left a very abbreviated area of real estate for us to go ahead and cook in. So what we chose had to be kind of multi-function. It had to be a countertop when not in use, and it also had to be a place where we can cook some food. Now, a lot of folks will go ahead and use a microwave, and I guess we can if we wanted to, but in a very small camper conversion like what we've got here, every square inch counts. I've said it a million times. Every single square inch counts, and you've got to manage those square inches accordingly. Unfortunately, that microwave, even a small microwave, still takes a pretty good chunk of real estate, not just in countertop, but in height and in depth. So this seemed to be the best option for us to go with, or at least some sort of countertop cook unit. So what you see here in front of me right here, this is the RecPro 2-burner stove, and they make different versions of this, guys. They make a 4-burner for sure that I know of, and we entertained it. It just wasn't going to fit our application because, once again, it's just such a small countertop. So what I'm going to do here today is go ahead and install this, and guys, I bought this probably a little over a year ago. It's been sitting around just waiting for its day in the sun to come about, and that day is finally here. Ironically, it's probably on one of the worst weather days that we've seen here in Oklahoma in years. Right now in our shop, I think when we got out here, it was about 36 degrees in the shop. That's why I'm bundled up. I hate wearing beanies, but today I've got no choice because it's just that freaking cold out here. So when I'm done talking and when I get to work, we're turning on the diesel heater. We're going to crank it up and we're going to warm this shop up a little bit. But I just want to show you basically the stove itself. I'm going to do a quick walk around and we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the installation here today. I've gotten started on this. I ran the propane line from the bottle, and I actually ran the only line that's in there right now, which goes back to our instant hot water heater, which is a Fugatti InstaShower 8. I've also got a video on that if it's something you're interested in, but today what we're going to do is we're going to tee off that existing propane line. We've got a Y connector, which we're going to do that with. We're going to split it under the bed and we're going to run it back underneath of the kitchenette. Now this shouldn't be a difficult install. The infrastructure, for the most part, it's already in there. It's just every time I've gone to get back on this project, it just seems like I keep running out of things. And last weekend was no different. I had intentions of getting this put in, but I couldn't do it because I needed another 6-foot hose. And here we are today. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again today, but I think I have everything I need here at this point to go get started. So here we go. Let me just show you what we've got here in terms of the stove, and then we'll get going. All right, I'm going to leave the link to this product in the description, so you can go in there and you could uncover the measurements of this, the stats, BTUs, if you will, everything that you might want to know about it. But I'm just going to do a quick walk around and show you how this you know what it is. So right here initially, one of the things that I really liked about this, and you can't see it right now, but these little rings here around, those illuminate, so where when this thing is on, these light up. And I don't know if they come on all the time or if that's just something that's on when the flame is on, but we're going to find that out here today. Right here, I believe this is the igniter button. Matter of fact, I'm pretty confident that's what that is. I guess I could probably go ahead and dig out some instructions if I were an intelligent fella, but I've never, not once ever claimed to be that. Now, once again, it's just a 2-burner unit. And for what we've got going on for just 2 of us, like I said earlier, for the most part, we're probably going to be cooking outside and cooking in the cabin for that matter once we get the kitchen in the cabin. But while we're staying in this is going to be our primary item that we cook with. Now right here, this is really what resonated with both of us when we first saw this. And this is countertop when it's not getting used. And when it is getting used, you just flip that up and then you can go ahead and use it. But when it's not, like I said, that's every square inch counts, and that's just a little bit more countertop that we could have. Another thing that really appealed to me about this was the simplicity of installation. You've got a negative wire, you've got a positive wire. Easy enough as far as the electric goes, no doubt about that. Right here, you've got what I think is a 3/8 inch fitting, and that is where your propane goes to. And folks, this is our little miniature countertop that we've got here, and the sink is already in, and that sink is functional. This little opening right here is exactly where that stovetop slides right on into, and at this point, last weekend, I went ahead and I ran the electrical circuit to go ahead and hook that up. You can see it's clearly not very much room. As a matter of fact, the little dinette over here is probably going to be every bit as much kitchen counter as it's going to be dinette while we're cooking. Man, it's feeling a lot nicer in here. I've got the diesel heater on. When I first came out this morning, it was about 39 degrees in here. And at this point, guys, I could tell you 59 degrees has never felt so good. Well, at this time, it's time to go ahead and tee into that propane line. And right now, that line is right behind that little IceCo cooler, right behind that beam. And that's where the split is. So that's where I'm going to go ahead and put that Y connector. Okay, so right now I'm laying underneath of our bed platform, and right here, going through that grommet, is where the propane line comes in from the bottle, through the regulator, and then through that cabinet right there, and it just comes up, goes to underneath of the bed platform, goes all the way over here to this little connector right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect that union, and then we're going to put a Y connector into that in order to go ahead and split that and then run it this direction back over towards where the stove is. And first thing I'm going to have to do is crawl back out of here, grab some snips, cut this little zip tie right here, and get some box end wrenches to go ahead and do that disconnect. Now, what I've got underneath of here is just a little drop light, and man, I've got to tell you, it is so cool now. to actually have power inside of the ambulance and not have to run an extension cord from the outside in. Something I will point out here, and I didn't know any better when I did it, but I went ahead and used the yellow Teflon tape in order to join these two connectors together. And as it turns out, on the flange style fitting like this, you don't need to do that. So it'll give me an opportunity to go ahead and strip that stuff out of there. It's not leaking. I did check that, so that's good. Now, when you're using like an NPT style thread, you do need to use that, but apparently not on these. So the next thing that we've got to do is hook up our little Y connector. And this is about the only thing I could find to get the job done. I would have preferred like a little metal manifold, but I needed it quick. I had this already, so this is what we're going to use. And again, this just plugs into our line that goes to the regulator. And this line originally went back to the water heater. So what we are doing is just teeing off of it. One half will go to the water heater, and then of course one to the cook stove. What I've got here is a little bit long now for the application, so I could do one of two things. I could either take this and shove it back that direction, or I could slide this direction, which I think is what I'm gonna do here. All right. Before I zip tie this down solid, I'm going to go ahead and hook up the line going back to the water heater, and then we'll roll that back. Boy, there's nothing more I like than working in tight confines. Okay, so the first connection is done. So now what I got to do is take this line, run it back this direction. Really don't like the way this has to turn around and put tension on this, but I don't see any real way around this either, so it is what it is. So now this line has got to run to the stove. All right, so this connection, once again, that goes that direction over there towards the water heater. We got our T-fitting, and this line is going to run the other direction and then go back, of course, into the sink, or rather under the sink over into the stove. So, all right, got to figure out where I'm going to route this through. Connections have been made. We've got our propane line going straight into the back. These wires were labeled. I do believe the black wire is for the positive and the white wire is the ground. The little tags that were on here unfortunately fell off somewhere between my workbench and inside here in the camper. So, well, we're going to find that out here shortly. I'm going to go ahead and power it up and just see if the igniter works and see if the lights work. But you can see it can't get any simpler than this in terms of installation. This is pretty simple. What I'm not liking is I've got way too much gas line, and I'm going to have to pull some of this back through and coil it up somewhere else. I don't like it underneath of the counter here. All right, well, it looks like everything's working. At least the halo lights here are working. That little switch there apparently is power. I thought that was the igniter, and I was wrong. Okay, I've got the stove in place, and you get an idea of kind of how it's going to look here. Let's take a look underneath. Like I said, that gas line is a little bit long, so I'm going to pull that through, but the electrical line looks like a pretty clean install. It doesn't look bad. So here's the moment of truth. I'm going to go ahead and hook up the propane to the bottle, open up pressure, and we'll see what we've got. Well, we've got a bit of a problem here. I've got gas. You could turn this on and you could hear the gas flowing. Matter of fact, I can turn it down to low here and we get flame. And you can adjust the flame and it turns up and down, but for whatever reason, I'm going to turn that off, the igniter doesn't work. Yeah, my understanding is you're just supposed to turn this on, like on, and press that down. No igniter. Matter of fact, you'll notice the lights go out almost like it's shorting itself out. I don't understand that. Now it does work. It just doesn't fire up automatically when you hit the igniter. As a matter of fact, the igniter is just not coming on. All right, so what we have here is a clear case of user error. Now, how this was working before, I have like no idea. The lights would come on. When I turned it on, the blue illumination would come on, but it was very, very dim. And then it occurred to me, I pulled out my voltmeter over here and I started prodding around and I wasn't getting any power. And I have no idea how those lights were coming on. Like, I have no clue. unless it was just a very, very, very low amount of juice hitting it. I don't know. But it dawned on me that I never put a fuse in this circuit, so I walked around to the electrical cabinet and I put a fuse in it, a 5-amp fuse, just like it said. Came around back here, and these lights are like super, super bright now. When I turn this on, it actually works. The igniter works now. So obviously this was on me. Have no idea exactly what... I really don't know, but it does appear functional here at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and put it back together. Just kind of a quick demo here. Like I was showing you all earlier, we've got countertop when it's not in use, and of course it's a cook stove when it is. Let's go ahead and, there we go. Man, that's pretty awesome here. Now we've got a 12-inch cast iron pan is normally what we cook out of, but this is much, much more well suited towards an 8 to 10-inch. And we're probably going to buy one of those just for the ambo. We are definitely cast iron folks, so I'm sure that's what we're going to end up having out here. But yeah, we're in action now, guys. Okay, well, one more task marked off the list and that's done. Now, will it be a good cook stove? Only time's going to tell as far as that go, folks, but so far it's in. It matches the decor. And one more thing to mention here about the countertop conversion is this is countertop, but we've also got this little stainless steel wooden board that goes in place of where the sink opening is. You can see we've got a pretty good sized sink here, but when it's not sinking, it can be countertopping. This is what it looks like underneath, and you can see our 120 volt outlet there. Up here we've got our air conditioning duct moving down. I ended up having to coil that hose and just putting it on the wall there just because there's too much hose, and it's not like I could trim it, so I had to do something with that. It runs underneath of the sink and of course underneath of the bed platform where it teed in. All in all, man, I'm pretty impressed. Well, folks, that pretty well wraps up our installation of the RecPro 2-burner stove. This is basically what I refer to as a micro project. It's nothing huge, but it was fun, and it definitely checks off one more thing off the to-do list, things that are small, but yet they make a huge impact in the usability of our camper. It wasn't a difficult install. As a matter of fact, it was really pretty easy, barring my little issue when I forgot to put the fuse inside the fuse block to get power to this thing. It is what it is, man. Sometimes you just kind of forget, and I did. And of course, you know, the infrastructure was already here. You know, I already had the gas line ran back to the water heater. All I really had to do was go ahead and tee into it and then run a separate line up to where the stove sits. Matter of fact, last week I had already went ahead and ran my electrical to get to here, so really all it was mounting it into the hole, testing it out, making sure it's going to work. But would I recommend it at this point? I see no reason why not. We absolutely love our Coleman stove that we've got. We used that out at the cabin not long ago, and guys, I fell in love with that thing. It's awesome. And this is really about the same thing when it comes to its design. It's a 2-burner stove. I'm not sure about the BTU rating on that. I'd have to go back in and take a look and see how close that really is. But yeah, it's like the same basic idea. The difference on this is the Coleman sits on top of the countertop, and this thing, it kind of becomes part of the countertop, which is the whole reason that we chose this particular one. But yeah, folks, that's really all I've got for you today. I really do appreciate you tuning in, and thank you for that. I do appreciate your support. Earlier I said if this is something that appeals to you, go ahead and like and subscribe. And I mean that because there's a ton of videos that have gotten us to this point. There's videos on like everything you see around me. In the future, there's going to be a lot more videos on this, but only we're getting to the point that we're wrapping things up now. So it's not really going to be the construction videos. It's going to be how does this thing really work in real life? And I'm so excited to get to that point. And not only that, but we've also got a lot of upcoming videos on the development of our little cabin shell that we purchased down in southeast Oklahoma. I can't wait to get started on that project, and it's going to be so awesome to use this thing as a vessel to live in while we're doing that. So yeah, go ahead and like and subscribe. I think it's going to be a blast, and I'd love to have you along for the ride. That's all I've got for you today, though, folks. I really appreciate you watching. If you've made it to this point, you're one of the few, and thank you very much. Happy adventures, folks, and I'll catch you next time. Take care, y'all.